Welcome, everybody, to Reavercast, a podcast by two Age of Sigmar players excited to have an Age of Sigmar podcast. I am your host, David Ratledge, and with me is my host, Chris Tobin.
Good morning. We're coming from the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina. We are representing the Carolina Reavers, and we've gotten a couple of these episodes under our belt, so I don't know if we could say we're a fairly new podcast, but we're still kind of new.
Yeah, we're getting our legs under us and still struggling to create a routine for this podcast. But I think once we have that down, I think we can let the fairly new part go. Chris, what have you been up to this week?
Lots of terrain painting. Getting terrain ready, making the table. We have the new GHB rules, so I'm going ahead, went and figured out what terrain pieces I'm going to need to add so I can have my at-home table prepared for this new GHB. Got some stuff on bases, got some stuff painted up, and it's looking snazzy. I'm excited for it.
Are you doing thematically like burny stuff, lava, ashy stuff, or because you already had a fair amount of terrain at your place?
Not really. Nothing was painted. It was all just like FDM printed stuff. And now I'm just trying to, get a little bit more of immersive gaming going on. But aside from that, I got my first game of the new GHB in today, which was sweet.
Awesome. What are your feelings? What are your initial game one feelings?
Game one feelings. I really like the battle plans. I really like the battle plans, and the tactics are neat, and the fury dice they add a little bit of complexity to the end of every round, every turn, but they're neat. They're really cool the way they could increase and decrease depending on what you do.
Yeah, I feel like it feels really different from what we just left behind. I feel like the battle tactics change has been significant, and depending on the map you get, is all over the place in a completely different animal.
Yeah. But how about yourself, Dave? What'd you get into this in this past while?
I have been doing my best to rip as many games on this new GHB as possible. Still trying to get Soul Blade things figured out, and of course with the new GHB, and maybe a little prematurely to, I think, point drops and Ashy updates coming up this Wednesday. Again, it may be a little premature because things are maybe going to change a little bit. So any list that I've been trying to sort out is not going to be exactly what it is. But yeah, just trying to get games in. I did a whole bunch of hobbying. I think I finally got most of my Soul Blade painted other than the terrain and manifestations. So feeling good about that.
Hell yeah.
Just got to get that in. But it's been good. Again, just trying to get my head around these new things. We have our RT coming up on July 4th for kind of new book games, just a round of 2 for people to sort it out. So that'll be excellent. If you're in the area and haven't signed up and there's still space, please do.
Is that why it's an RT? Is it's only 2 rounds?
No, there's no TT. There's only one because it's only 2 rounds. So
that's right. All right. Sweet.
But we're not here to talk about the new GHB yet. We'll have an episode for that. But the reason we're here today is, of course, at the exact same time that the new GHB was dropping, they also dropped new Slaanesh information.
Oh, how dreadfully exciting.
And so we have brought in our Reaver's ringer, our Vice Captain Chad, to tell us about his experience so far, his thoughts, his reflections about the new Slaanesh rules. He has a thorough background in playing Slaanesh, which I'll let him cover and set the stage for it. Hello, good morning, Chad.
Hello, Reavercast. It's good to be here.
Yes, good morning, Chad.
It's good to have you.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be here.
Glad to have you. Yeah, Chad, tell us a little bit about yourself. We kind of got into it with the pre-talk of how long you've been playing Slaanesh. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your pedigree?
Well, I've been playing Age of Sigmar for, I think it's like 4 years now. I picked it up when pretty much second year of 3rd edition. It was right when 3rd edition was starting to get like really crazy, but like I didn't know that. I had just sort of started on a whim, and here I am like 4 years later, and like, I had a friend that was like, dude, let's play Age of Sigmar. And I was like, sure, whatever. I'd rather play 40K, but I'll play Age of Sigmar with you, I guess. And then he never built his models, and here I am like 5 armies later. And since then, I've done a bunch of tournaments. I do a lot of competitive play. I've been playing Slaanesh competitively pretty much the whole time. I picked it up as like my second army. And the very first event I went to, I played Slanesh. You know, it's a weird vibe in the army. Like, let's just get this out of the way. It's a weird vibe army. I've always dug it though. It's a lot of fast units, right? A lot of interesting mechanics, a lot of stuff that you don't really find elsewhere in Slanesh. So if you're drawn to like unique play styles and hooks, like this is definitely a great army. I love that. I'm kind of a Johnny play style. Like, I'll get a little sweaty. I like to win, but at the end of the day, I like to like sort of have different options for list building and like be able to like tinker with different rules and mechanics is really what I'm all about.
Yeah, when I played you the first time in the Slanesh army, I think your big comment that stuck with me is, yeah, I'll have to tell you their rules a few times because they're kind of all over the place and no one remembers them anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that was the index slash actually. And
yeah, it's only worse now.
oh, it is far worse now. Yeah. Well, it's far worse in the sense that like you don't really have to remember anything. Like you just have to remember that I am going to debuff everything that you love, and it's going to be gone.
Oh, I was going to ask if you're making any tokens as reminders of like which ones you're using, who has done what so far, because it seems like there's a lot of bookkeeping and resource management in the new rules.
There absolutely is, yeah. And I actually am in contact with our team quartermaster Mark about printing up custom. Like I got an AI agent, like literally, like just pumping out everything that I might need because it came up with like 40 different tokens to like fully express the army, which I think is a little overkill.
Maybe adequate.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think most of it is expressible with like if you have Paragon tokens. So you need something cool to mark which units are Paragons in the book.
Right.
And then you need markers to know which ones have used temptation abilities and which ones haven't.
Mm-hmm.
The temptation abilities are like incredibly important. Like they're giant effects like -1 to hit bubbles, turning off non-companion weapon abilities,
Nice.
-2 inches to charge, or like making an enemy unit charge that Paragon or sorry, hero. So they're very important, and all of your heroes and sometimes non-heroes want to use them all the time. So tracking that and making sure that you don't double do it or know who's available to shoot a temptation still, right? It's a big deal. So yeah, I'm definitely in the midst of figuring out my token game, and more about this later, but like right now I'm still like the first thing every Slanesh player should be doing is just building more Myrmidesh Painbringers. And so that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
With that, and I think we touched on it a little bit, can you tell us about some of the biggest changes from index to book? Of course, you can find a lot of videos talking about how their rules are different, but other than just like, these are the new rules, what were the biggest changes that you've experienced so far?
Okay, so I've been playing a lot of Mortals. Actually, the entire time I've been playing Slash, I've been playing a lot of Mortals. I have a lot of the demon side of the army. Like I said, I'm more of a mechanical, like Johnny. The demon side has always been a little bit more aggressive and like run up and punch you in the face. The mortal side is sort of what I've been more focused on, and that's changed a lot. I think the demon side in the new book is actually still pretty much that. The temptations, like the debuffs I just mentioned, are pretty generic, so the demons get access to them still, and so that does make the demons a little bit more techy, like by association. But the mortal side of the army is quite a bit different. Before, what you were doing in the index was you were running like a lot of twin souls generally, and you were Lord of Hubris. You got in the mix sometimes. There was a trait called the Threnody voice box that gave everyone in combat with the hero -1 to attacks. Like you had access to like several -1 attacks. Like back in the first GHB of the edition, you had the bodyguard. So like Glutos would hang out by twin souls, and like there would be like little bubbles of like -2 attacks. So Slash players through the index in 4th edition have been heavily relying on just minus attacks of their opponents. Bushbarb archers have been strong the whole time. The fact that the whole army could get run and charge and run and shoot, we were very reliant on that. So Slash was kind of a control the board until a big go turn kind of army. And even then, it got pretty dicey because there was a lot of low saves or even mid saves, but like no wards kind of thing. Now the army has changed a bit. The mortals are a lot tankier. Both Myrmidesh Painbringers and Sigvalds Twin Souls native 3-up saves. Before it was just the Painbringers. But now the Painbringers also get a 5-up ward when they haven't charged. And that's massive because now you've got a 3-up, 5-up on the board, and it costs 120 points on reinforced. So, yeah, yeah. So, getting to 10 Painbringers, that's 20 wounds on a 3-up, 5-up, probably easily obscurable through a few different traits. And then if you charge them, there's temptations to, like I said, turn off weapon abilities or give -1 to hit in a 12-inch bubble. So not only do you have an incredibly tanky unit that is cheap, you're also debuffing anybody that tries to hit them in the first place.
I feel like Slanesh had access to that 5-up ward previously, but it was only in the combat phase, right?
Twin Souls would get it. They were on
Yeah.
a 4-up native instead of a 3-up, and
Okay.
they had to be in combat and not be charged. Like accessing this where you just have to stand there and not charge, right, is a way different ballgame.
Yeah, and they get it for the whole turn. So like shooting anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge.
And then there's a enhancement that you can put on a hero that covers box visibility outside of 12 inches. Like you have a little 6-inch bubble where it can't even be seen. And then you can also bring Glutos, who's got a War Scroll trait, or I'm sorry, ability that does it in a 12-inch bubble.
Mhm.
So, like there's lots of ways to even hide them outside of the obscuring terrain. So not only are they tanky, they're hideable.
I'll go with the next question for you. Do you think this is a good book?
Yeah. I'm going to come in and say that I think it's a little lopsided right now. I think that some units are undercosted and some are overcosted, but the battle traits are just good, right? Like the temptations, I've seen a lot of discussion about them, but like at the end of the day, they're very usable. And there's a lot of powerful and often sought after abilities on different war scrolls. Like for instance, like the mask, every movement phase, he could do 3 different things, but one of the important ones there is he can move 2 to 3 inches. And that could be into combat. And so, I mean, most of us are going to know this as a murder lust. Like we have a unit that can literally murder lust. I mean, that's a big deal. Like we all know. Oh, sorry. If you don't know how powerful that is, you need to learn. Basically, right? Like, come play me. I'll show you.
Or you'll learn very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's big. We've got a -1 to hit bubble for 12 inches. That's big. Most armies don't get that anymore. Turning off weapon abilities, adding companion. Like, there's a lot of versatile effects and powerful effects. They're not all together on the same war scroll or the same faction traits, but like they're spread out on usable things, and combined, it makes a pretty good army.
For better or worse, it's very much like cities when they're under orders in that your temptation things, you just tell them that you're doing it. Like it's not that you have to roll, it's not that you have to check. Unless the person, it is not a paragon, then the opponent gets a choice of 1 of 2. But so long as the unit doing it's a paragon, you just say like, this is what's happening to you in this phase. Which is huge.
Yeah, it is. It's not quite as like wink wink. It's always on as cities, because like you can only ever have 3 at one time, and sometimes you need to spread out a little bit. And so it does require some forethought. Like let me weigh a hot take here. I don't think cities getting everybody under formation requires any forethought or thought. Like, I just think it kind of just happens.
Oh, Braham's
Shots
gonna fight you.
fired. I love it.
Yeah. I think it just I think it just automatically happens. I think this requires like it's still not bad. Like you need to commit a brain cell to the paragon thing, but in general you're right. Like you're pretty much always gonna have a paragon where you want, when you want, and make the temptation, like picking two, right? Offering your opponent a choice is generally always bad, because like it's like a game theory thing where like they always pick the one that you don't want them to pick, right? So but in practice you can always keep the paragon in the right spot to get the right ability,
In the 1 or 2 games against you, you've never struggled to have them in the right place, because they just have to be within 12, right? Or wholly within 12, I guess, which is not terribly hard to do.
Generally.
When it's just like a little hero on a little base, like staying wholly within 12 of that.
completely surrounded,
Never too bad.
completely surrounded by 3-up, 5-ups.
Yeah. Not having a hard time.
Yeah, and like they're not able to be shot.
Yeah.
So in general, I will say I just played a game that I managed to lose Paragon for the first time.
Ooh.
And it was a little bit surprising. you know, the -1 hit bubble needs to be on a non-unique and in combat unit, and so that means that like charge mortals like can turn off Paragon, and so Karazai just rolled in and tail swiped me, hit 3 5-ups on my unit, and knocked off Paragon. So I lost my -1 hit bubble.
Because yeah, it's 3 damage.
Yeah, if you take 3 damage from something other than a combat attack, and yeah, so like I just lost my -1 hit bubble, and then Dragons did a lot more damage, and that was bad. That's gonna happen. I think it's kind of rare so far from what I can see, but like good opponents are gonna know and try and do it. So they're occasionally gonna get lucky.
Well, one of the other ways you could lose Paragon is by rolling a 5 or less charge. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, after rerolls at least.
right. Is it?
Chad's found his way around that in that he never charges.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
tough to lose that when you just move up and get hit.
Are there any other
Yeah.
ways aside from the unit dying to lose Paragon?
Yeah, they can miscast a spell.
Okay.
You can't like take it off them. It would be convenient to shuffle sometimes. Like sometimes you've got it on a unit of Painbringers or something, and you want to move it to something else so you can -1 to hit some other part of the board. You can't do that. So that's part of where like you really kind of need to think ahead a little bit about like where your Paragons are going exactly. Like you sort of need to focus your forces in a certain spot. So far, I think that might have like strong synergies with this GHB. Like this very much seems like it controlled the center of GHB to me so far. And so a world where you want to centralize your power sort of near the center, right? It doesn't really hurt the Paragon system all that much.
Yeah.
Can I take a left turn here and talk about Place of Power and Rage Dice? I think having a foot dork park near Place of Power is suddenly very powerful, right? Like somebody just farming Rage Dice, I think is so far it seems like the play, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As someone that has a 80-point skeletal hero that if I can fit him into the list, can just do exactly that and then just heal him if ever he fails. It would take, the beginning of turn heal that I can do, but something like that if there's people near him, because I've found so far that I don't pay enough attention to places of power, or at least in the maps that I've played, they're in some weird place that like I don't have a hero.
Yeah.
And so to your point, having a foot dork that I know is going to be dedicated to that, now I don't have to like, okay, well I got to find a way to get over here on the left side of the board so that I'm tapping this place of power because I'm over somewhere else doing something. So I've never put a lot of focus into it yet.
Yeah, I think for me, it's starting to look like the mask is going to be the foot dork in Slanesh to do that. Because he can go over there and he can farm up the dice and then 2d3 move around, be pretty survivable if somebody comes to mess with him. Can sort of solo, right? If somebody kills him, whatever. He's 120 points. I think he's auto include just because he has utility and is 120 points.
Yeah, especially now that Master's gone and okay, you lose him.
Right.
Probably doesn't cause a problem.
My instinct to like not lose my heroes is like so ingrained in me that like I have a nervous fit. Yeah, it's actually it's refreshing that like now that I'm realizing I can play my heroes again.
Yeah. We've heard the good. We've heard that you like the book. Any negatives to it? Any things that went away that you missed so far or wish you had back?
Well, I have built and painted 40 Blissbarb Archers, and anybody that's done that knows how painful of an experience that really is.
Especially for someone who hates painting models.
Yeah, like there's a Blissbarb Archer model that like you don't attach the arm to the torso, you slide the torso together, and there's like 2 diagonals, and like you crisscross them together like they're scissoring, sort of. And, like you have to somehow glue that together. It's a bit of an infamous piece.
All the Slanesh players talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like the little details on them, yeah, it's paintable, but they're not very good, honestly. Like they probably still have some play. Not very good is probably an overstatement, but like they're just not what they used to be. I mean, in 3rd edition, they used to be able to like run and shoot really easy. Like when in Index, you always made one a pair. Euphoric, so they could get the run and shoot. 3rd edition, they had run and shoot on their War Scroll. They've been basically shooting. They've had a 30-inch range for the last like 4 years or something, and now they've reduced the 18-inch shooting range to 15, and they've give them basically no access to run and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sub faction that lets them do it, but like they need to start from 9 inches on the side of the board, from within 9 inches of the board edge, and
Got it.
you lose out on a really good sub faction by taking down. I mean, there's a sub faction that lets 3 infantry units move D6. You can move them out of combat. I mean, it's just really good. And so having to sacrifice that to make Blitzbarb archers great again, I don't know, something you want to be thinking about, in my opinion. Besides that, the demon side of the army is looking pretty sparse. War scrolls have been moving into legends, and like I was just looking at the demons before we did this, so I could like talk about it a little bit. There's only like 2 or 3 demon war scrolls that are even worth noting. Like there's Keeper of Secrets and there's Shalaxi, who are always cool. Like especially with the Keeper giving recursion, but like solid recursion targets that you have are Daemonettes and Fiends, and they're both very squishy. There's not a ton of damage. Like Fiends can spike and do a lot of damage, but they've lost access to their fights last. Still have some interesting debuffs, like they can give -1 to casting. They can do extra damage to people around them at the end of the turn. And the army is lacking damage a little bit. This might be a good time to get into that. Like the demon side just is not really being kept up to speed, in my opinion. And then the damage is another thing. Index Slanesh had invaders, which gave all the infantry Ren 2 when they got out of friendly territory. And this is what really allowed you to like turn up the numbers and actually put some hurt on people. Ren 2 is now like very hard to get in the army.
Got it.
And even the damage number, so like there used to be a couple units like the Sagi Fiendbloods could be damage 3 on the charge. There used to be a couple other units that could do more than 1 damage, but like at this point, pretty much all of the war scrolls are 1 damage. Like the Twin Souls can get to 2, but it's a once per game army. So like you just have 1 unit Twin Souls that gets to 2 damage once. So like rend and damage, you really need to lean into some unit builds in order to get them. There's not a way to just sort of like smooth brain a cavalry unit that does a lot of damage. Like Slick Blades can, but like they're only run 1 at base and no access to 2. And so that's the thing. You're always looking at like Shard Speaker or Lord of Hysteria or something else to get that rend number to 2. And even then, you're only doing 1 damage on pretty much all of your attacks. So combining forces and like making sure you don't split attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be like the real weakness here, I think, is the damage is not at all like it used to be.
And you don't have anything like Crypt Mortals or anything either. You maybe have like a handful of like abilities like that, don't you?
Yeah, almost no weapon abilities. Like there's some access to crit 2 hits. Crit 2 hits actually is fairly accessible.
Mm-hmm.
+1 to wound is there, but as far as like auto wounds, Blitzbarb archers can get auto wound, but like I said, with their new range restriction, and they have to be in combat or shooting something in combat, it's a little it's not quite easy to get, right? They'll probably get it once or twice a game, but no, not a lot of that.
Yeah.
So generally you're having to go through saves with Ren 1 unless you find some other way to augment it. That's going to be a little tricky.
Does it still play like the castle that it was? Because, you know, I remember it always moving up as kind of a big blocker, like you said, in like smaller groups where you could ensure that people were getting their debuffs and things. But is it still that, do you think? Or it can, I mean, it probably depends on the list you put together, but
I think it's still absolutely a castle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, the way to get access to higher rend is units that require you to be in a castle. Like you need Shard Speaker to hit somebody with a -1 to save, or you need to get charged and have Lord of Hysteria give everyone anti-charge. That's the only way to really start upping your numbers. So unless everybody's together, I'm going to call it a Death Star.
Yeah, that's
right.
Cool.
You're gonna Death Star to a spot, and then you're gonna set it up there. And in the games I've played so far, I'm gonna be honest, I've been testing out just taking first every time and just setting up the castle in the middle of the board. And the Painbringers are so tanky, it actually survives the whole game most of the time. Like I literally just got double turned by long strikes and dragons, and still had Painbringers left at the end of the game. Like
Yeah, taking first doesn't seem to be the same animal that it used to be.
No, I don't think so. Because there's so many positional battle tactics that you can lock in all yours real quick, sort of leave your opponent to struggle. So like, not only do they have to worry about you advancing up the board, now they also don't have easy of an access to their own battle tactics.
Yeah,
I mean that, and then you're locking in scoring 10 on primary for the first turn as well. So it's another advantage of taking the first turn. I was given the first turn today, and I mean, locking in that early 10, I was good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Chad's routinely been knocking out 20-point turns for turn 1.
Woo!
And then, yeah, to your point, and to the greater GHB conversation, having 2 and more right now and making the opponent struggle to either take those or have enough to do that, like it's a 10-7 or a 10-6. And so taking first turn and moving your Death Star up and having those 3 up, 5 ups, now you're in the middle of the board. Charging you sucks. You're gonna have those wards. You're gonna be in your all your comfortable bubbles, and your paragons are nestled deep in there somewhere.
Yep. Princesses in the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jury's still out if that's really a good idea. What I'm doing so far, it does seem pretty good. Like it's like a real angle. Like if you look back at my win rate historically, it usually plummets when I go first. But here, it actually seems to be working. But I mean, the list is built for it. The GHB might be more conducive to it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see how. We don't know what the actual units are yet. The actual units might change everything. We'll see.
Yeah. And you'll probably at least dodge this first point difference here next week. If they give you a point change after you've existed for a week, then they really messed up. But I think you'll dodge this first one and just hang on. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what the actual units get to do. You at least got information on the actual units as far as points and which ones they're going to be. You just don't know what they can do, right?
Correct. Yeah, and so far,
Yeah.
the actual unit, we know that Blitzbarb Seekers are an actual unit, and they're already one of my like top tier in the book. Like, they're 160 points, they're 20 wounds. They shoot, they retreat and shoot. They move 14. Like, it's basically, you can look at it like a really fast Clan Rats, even like at 160. But like the actual version is going to be 150 actually. So looking at Blitzbarb Seekers as a screen, I think is like a really intriguing idea, and right.
The screen before they get to your 120.3 up 5 up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what we're talking about here,
right? And if they don't fully if they don't fully clear it, then they're gonna run off 14 inches and go do battle tactics and other things. So
yeah,
that unit being cheaper actually it already looks like a buff to my army. I mean, maybe the worst scroll would suck or something, but like I'm actually hyped for actually Blitzbarb Seekers.
Yeah, I think we're all hyped to see what we get.
You kind of already touched on the demons versus mortals, and now with the Blitzbarb Seekers, kind of you latching onto them as a unit you like. What are some other like strong and weak units that you want to call out? And for the weak ones, do you think there's any improvements that you'd like to see, or anything to bring down the stronger units?
Yeah. So, strong units. I've already talked about this a couple times. I think that there's 4 like auto include war scrolls, and maybe this is a hot take, but I'm going to put at the top of the list the Thricefold Discord. It's that Underworld's warband that comes with the 3 guys, and they've been very underwhelming up to this point. I literally didn't own them. I had to order them from eBay.
Okay,
but they're really good. They're not unique, so they can carry enhancements. This is cool because there's 3 of them. So there's some positional enhancement or ranged enhancements like the Bashful Visage that obscures your units within 6 of them outside of 12 inches of an enemy unit. And them having 3 models, right? You can make that 6-inch bubble kind of. It's much better than a 40 mil, one single 40 mil guy carrying that enhancement. They've got a ability that lets them change, so they can switch between having Wizard 2 giving you 3 extra rally dice, or I'm sorry, not rally dice, rally points. This is a big deal. It's not extra dice. It's when you rally, you get 3 extra points.
Well, that is big.
Somebody within. Yeah. Honestly, I don't. Oh, the third one is crit 5. You crit on 5s instead of 6s. And they're actually all pretty good, right? Wizard 2 and 3 extra rally points are auto include from the get go.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to switch them to combat mode. They're one of the rare units that have like a damage 2 on the war scroll. So if you have 3 of them, you actually are up to 9 attacks. Like, it's not exactly gonna like take down like a Stormcast Dragon, but like they're pumping out some damage. And you couple that with all the other versatility they have. They have a nice spell even. Threshold Discord, like, really good. Even their regiment options are solid. They can bring a sub hero with them. They can bring any other Slanesh unit. there's not really a downside to bringing Threshold Discord, in my opinion.
Well, and then you already mentioned they're a non-unique hero, so they tick that for your temptation.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Otherwise on auto include War Scrolls, the Mask. I've talked about this guy already. Is really good at 120 points. The utility that it brings, I don't know why you wouldn't bring him. Remember Dash Painbringers, number 3, just the tankiness. Like you need something that is able to stand on a point, especially this GHB, and that puts the Lord of Hysteria, I think, at number 4. This might be a bit of a hot take. He's got a War Scroll ability to give somebody +1 attacks. Like I just said, getting access to damage is hard. This GHB, Lord of Hysteria, adding +1 attacks to somebody. He's also got a he gives everybody anti-charge +1 rend in a 12-inch bubble. This is big. You don't have a lot of rend. You want to go stand somewhere and get charged. You're going to get charged right with this army. Him giving everybody +1 rend makes you will often do more damage getting charged than you will not with this version of Slaanesh. Things that I think could be fixed. Number 1, I want to say contorted epitome. Anybody that had a contorted epitome in 3rd edition knows that they miss using this model. This guy used to have a 2-up ward. It was ridiculous. He used to have a 2-up ward.
Jeez.
And he prevented you from retreating from him. And you couldn't use commands when you were in combat with him. So I think that he was the same points. I think he was 150 points in 3rd edition. Had a 2-up ward. Right. No commands, no retreating. Like he was just a mirror that walked up and you got in combat with him. You said, well, I don't get to use that unit that he's in combat with anymore.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, it was a dirty mirror. And so, and so now he's actually got a good ability. Like he can gaze into the depths is actually pretty good. The problem is to hit somebody 18 inches away or more than 6 inches away, I should say, requires a 3-up. And then it's got a clause that the unit that you target can't be picked up to be reset up. Like it's worded funny and it needs an FAQ, I think. Like it doesn't say the unit can't be removed from the battlefield. It says the unit can't be removed from the battlefield by an ability that would allow it to be set up again on the battlefield. But like when I first saw Epitome, I was like, this is great. Like this is going to help against Zeech. Like if those Enlightened charge in, you hit it with the Epitome, they can't flip-flop the Enlightened. But they actually can because the Zeech abilities move them to, what is it, Masked by Shadows? I forget. It moves them to reserve, and that ability doesn't specifically then let them be reset up. Like rules is written, Contorted Epitome doesn't work the way that we hope it might, I think.
Got it.
And so, maybe it shouldn't be returned to its 2-up, no commands, no retreat form of glory. That's
right.
In hindsight, I was a bad person, but let's see. The twins, this is a big, I don't think this is even a hot take. Dexessa and Sinessa, amazing models. I think they're just overpointed here. They're 5-ups on 10 wounds, flying monsters. So you can always shoot them. Like none of the stuff that gives obscuring in the Slaanesh book even applies to monsters. So there's no way to hide these models. Like they've got cool abilities. The index Sinessa was down to 160 points. I think they were both down to 160. If not, Dexessa was maybe 180. But like now they're back up to 280 apiece. Maybe if they got back to that 160 point, these guys would be playable. But I mean, even then, they were still kind of dicey.
What about in their Army of Renown?
I haven't really read the Army of Renown.
Okay.
Yeah. But my impression is it was meany. I think if you wanted to play like an AOR that like would not get crushed by somebody like playing a regular army, I think the Sigvald army might actually work out. But my understanding is the twin army does not. Oh, and actually, I do know some of the rules. I know that if you lose one of the twins, the whole Army of Renown rule shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So losing 10 wounds on a 5-up.
Doable.
Yeah, it's doable. Yeah. I think there's a lot of stuff that's pointed a little bit high. Silesk is one I'm looking at with a really powerful sort of war scroll, but I don't know if he's too high or not. Like, he's one of the rare units that has Rend 2, damage 3 on some attacks, or Rend 1, damage 2. And he's got a really good spell, but it goes off on a 7. He's got an ability that lets demons and mortals fight at the same time. You're paying for that ability, but the demons aren't very good.
Got it.
There's a few units in kind of a weird space, I'll say. Glutos is one of them. Glutos to me looked like he was an auto include from the jump, because he had the doc style, like hide all units within 12 inches of him ability. In practice, you kind of want to be close to your opponent in this GHB. And the units that you don't want to be shot, you kind of want close to them as well. So his recursion went down to what at the end of your enemy turn as well. And so, in theory, his war scroll looks pretty awesome. I think in practice, it hasn't really been getting its value on the field.
Mm-hmm. And he's like decently fighty and really survivable right now too, because he also went to a 3-up, but you also just don't want him really in combat, or like it doesn't gain you anything really, right?
Yeah, not really. His war scroll spell is still amazing. Like having an enemy unit's move and charge is actually insanely powerful. So
Yeah,
I think he's maybe just a little overcosted right now.
got it. Seems like your army is a situation of extremes of things being, in my opinion, undercosted at 120 points for the Painbringers, and apparently overcosted at
Yeah.
280 for some expensive models. Don't the twins have like crazy abilities though? Am I making that up? I thought that.
They're pretty good. I mean, I think one of the most powerful, like just ability war scrolls in the demons is probably Shalaxi, right? I mean, she has a spell that gives strike first, but it goes off on an 8.
Okay.
Charge and retreat. Like Shalaxi is really, really good. Excessa is very fighty, right? Like 8 attacks, 3s, rend 2, damage 2. I mean, it's pretty strong. Easy access to +1 to wound. Crit 2 hits on there. I mean, they're pretty good, but I don't think that they add up to the points.
Got it. How do you think that it fits or ranks amongst the new books? And we'll say that the new books start. I don't know. When do we think the new books start? Do we think they start with
Nurgle?
Nurgle? Yeah. So, like, where do you think this ranks amongst all those?
I'm gonna put it in the B tier, maybe. So like we might need to establish some guidelines here. So like let's call when we put Nurgle, Doc, and S tier. Nurgle, Disciples of Zinch, Stars of Cain, Sylvaneth.
Sylvaneth. Yeah, they're up there.
Would that go up there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're asking you, man.
to,
Where do
yeah.
you want to put them?
to me, these are the best that I think have come out. I think Slanesh.
Puts 4 armies in S.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they're really good. They're all really good. I don't. This is better than OBR, I think. And what else has come out? Yeah, for OBR.
Cities, Doc.
Oh, cities. So cities.
Lumineth.
Lumineth. Yes, this is not as good as Lumineth. Right? What is? Right? Yeah.
Stinking elves.
Yeah. This is definitely. I'm going to call it tier 2.
Okay. So underneath Lumineth, Zinch, you think Magakin is above it, or
I haven't really played against Magakin a whole lot lately.
Magakin might be tough into you because you want to be in a big bundle, but
Right.
and you're both slow.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless you're doing Bliss Barb, but like go ahead and send your Bliss Barbs into something. Like watch them get shredded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nurgle's probably tough for Slash. I think this book is powerful, and I think it's got ways to win all those matchups, but it's not as you need to rely on the synergies a little bit more, and even then, the synergies that you're getting, I don't think are quite as powerful. Right, like some of the stuff that Zinch can do is just obscene. Right, you all have seen Zinch plays, right? And here,
especially now that you can't charge terrain,
right?
So
yeah.
So this book's powerful, I think, but not the top.
It's good that you like your book.
that is good.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that you like your book. I mean, we've kind of touched on the OBR. That's a bit of a downer. So, Night Haunt. I haven't heard a lot of hotness on the Night Haunt side.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think anyone's including it in the new book release.
But
I don't think it's up there. I think OBR's biggest thing is their terrain and turning off things being set up. I think so many things get set up right now that I think it dominates that.
Yeah. OBR is probably quite powerful, but I mean, I don't think it was ever that popular of an army, was it? Like it was always lower in usage.
Yeah, I think their faction terrain is like their biggest strength at this point, especially because it can't be charged. It's huge and it's going to be fucking annoying to set up on some of these new maps, but like so many abilities are actually just little teleports.
Yeah.
And not anything else. And it just turns all those off. You're just like, all right, well, tough. Like Sylvaneth stuff of like coming out of trees. Nope, you're not doing any of that. Zinch, nope. Like it just, I think it does a lot.
How do you rank some of your matchups going into this new GHB and into some of these other armies?
Okay, so I think I've only played 3 factions. I've played Slanesh versus Soulblight, Cities, and Stormcast. Against Cities, it feels very good. You turn off the cavalry, the +1 charge damage. You have, if you play in the sub faction to let you do the 3 infantry D6 moves at the end of the turn, that's pretty nasty to their cavalry again. Like, 'cause their cavalry wants to charge you and then charge again. When they charge a thing that then moves D6 at the end of the turn, like suddenly you're like corner tagging it and like making it more awkward for them to get to the next thing. And then even if they make it to the next thing, you're turning off their +1 damage, which they're very reliant on. You get the visibility blocking. Like, my matchups in the Cities have felt pretty good. And the Stormcast is a bit of a different story. The Stormcast player I play brings the long strikes every time. They can deep strike within the range that they can shoot my guys at. So the obscuring traits do nothing for me. I don't think anybody really says I feel confident into every Stormcast matchup, especially if they're against a skilled player. Slanesh actually looks pretty good against them, I think. But this is going to be a dicier game. There's a Soulblight. It was my first game of the GHB, and I think I got a little bit lucky. I don't know, Dave. What happened?
I just couldn't do damage is what happened. You're 3 up, 5 up.
Yeah.
And turning off weapon abilities so I couldn't do mortals, and then you just chewed into me.
Oh yeah, because Graveguard got sort of neutered, and
yeah.
Sorry, Barrow Guard.
Just Barrow Guard. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's just the question of, if I throw Barrow Knights at you, do we just create the world's worst swamp?
Yeah.
Just dudes with 1 rend,
Yeah.
just struggling.
Yeah. So I think my experiences with these matchups can be extrapolated out to all other matchups. Like, most people are relying on some buffs or weapon abilities to really like bring their damage home, and Slash's ability to turn them off gives you options into every matchup.
Yeah, and debuffs. I mean, destruction is pretty well struggling with the amount of debuffs you're going to be able to put on them. They're not relying so much on weapon abilities, but they would like to hit you and wound you, and they're going to be on probably 5s and 4s, if not 4s and 4s. Yeah.
Destruction is going to be sad, very sad against Slanesh. I agree.
Yeah. So like, all of destruction is going to struggle. Death to a great extent, because again, just being able to turn some of those mortals off, and so none of that's going on. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you're going to struggle with is things like long strikes, like huge damage dealing ranged units where, if you have Glutos, you can, shield some of the people around it, but then they're just targeting Glutos. And things like long strikes being anti-hero.
Glutos does shield himself. So
long
strikes
okay.
can't,
I didn't realize that.
They usually can't deep strike and shoot Glutos, but they can still deep strike and shoot the things that you want to obscure with Glutos' aura, right? Because they drop outside of 9, they shoot 18. So like, it's hard to fully screen out your whole front line. Like, the long strikes are just going to keep getting value anyway.
Yeah.
Bloodthirsters, I don't want to see Bloodthirsters, honestly. Like, I don't want to get charged by the anti-infantry Bloodthirster that then throws Fury Dice at me at the end of the turn to get extra attacks. Like, yeah, I'm tanky. Like, I can still only take so much Bloodthirster, right?
A good man's got to know his limits.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much do you think, and again, you've had a few games, but we've had a lot of time to talk about it and kind of get into it, and with the leaks before, how much of the I think, what if I call it goodness? How much of the goodness of the army is thanks to the new GHB and new battle tactics and new things? Or do you think that this would be just as good old GHB, running Master Restless?
I don't think this version of the army would be as good in the Scourgic Iran GHB. The battle plan, the battle plans had such spread out objectives that being a castle that needed to be wholly within 12 inches of each other, right, was doable. Like, lots of armies did it. But those armies also had teleports and other ways to hop out of it real easy. There's not a lot of teleporty things in Slanesh. There's a few ways to get it, but like, you don't really have it natively. You have to build to it. And trying to like do whirling routes when you were trying to stay in a 12-inch bubble was tough, even with Index Slanesh that could get access to like run and shoot and run and charge. So this one is definitely looking better on the new GHB so far, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, things being more cloistered certainly helps, and again, as I said earlier, it's going to take some getting used to.
It's going to be a different game with all these like close together objectives and battle plans.
Do you like the new temptation system versus what it was in the index?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said up front, I'm kind of I like to play with mechanics. I like to have different tools that I can use at different times. The temptations give me that. I talk a lot about the minus one to hit bubble or like turning off weapon abilities, but like there's one that if you're a hero in combat in the movement phase, one of the temptations is you can have plus one to hit versus the enemy unit or make that enemy unit control score one. And like this is actually a pretty good temptation, you know? It's not in the top tier with the rest of them, but like it's a cool tool to have in the belt that like sometimes it comes up in games. I've played 4 or 5, it's come up twice. Right? The mask being able to murder lust can murder lust into a unit, and then if offer plus one to hit, or if it's Paragon, it can force plus one to hit for your whole army. So there's just cool tools there. The Pravity dice, it was kind of never a good idea to give somebody with the Pravity dice. You always had to pick 1 unit or 3 units because you gave your opponent the dice that could guarantee a 12-inch charge. So if you were across the field from your opponent, you were just making E+12 archers run and shoot, basically. You could never like say, I'm going to have 3 run charge units right now, because then they would just 12-inch charge you. And I don't know if you guys have been on the receiving end of a 12-inch charge. They're very good. So,
really upsetting.
Oh yeah, it's traumatizing even. And the old index, basically handing that to your opponent, right, was I think if we were to go back to when the Slaanesh rules got announced, I don't know if you guys remember the slow leak of every faction. When Slaanesh got GW just put out like 1 faction every day and like showed their battle traits going into 4th edition. And when the Slaanesh came out and it like detailed how you could give your opponent a 12-inch charge, and it was even easier for them then. People put Slaanesh in the just the absolute garbage. They said this army is never going to do anything this whole edition, right? So this is definitely not that. This looks a lot better than that. Even that was still playable. So I would say I like this a lot more. I miss the fast, the ability for Slaanesh to move as fast as it was, but they change things up. Otherwise,
it just gets boring.
Yeah, it really does.
I'd like to touch on the AORs because you said you're not too familiar with the Twins one, but you do know about the Sigvald one. Do you have any comments on that, or do you think that's going to be FAQ to where you don't get infinite Sigvalds? Like, what are your thoughts on the AOR for him?
Well, my understanding right now is you only get 1 mirror, so you can get infinite Sigvalds. But if your mirror dies, then you can't get Sigvald back. So the mirror, right, you can put in an out of the way spot or something, but then Sigvald's kind of slow, right? I don't think he's got a way to teleport. He's got important places, he's got important people have important places to be. So like he's got a way to move fast. But who knows if you can keep your mirror in a spot that is safe and still get Sigvald back into combat. It'll be interesting. His war scroll is still really good. I think it's a little overpointed. I was playing him last edition at 160. He's probably the same. He's probably about the same now as he was then. I think he needs to come down in points to really be playable, in my opinion, or at least be playable like super competitively. Maybe to me, the AOR looks like it's a fun, semi-competitive list at the moment.
Definitely fun.
Yeah,
and I think
it is
the oddity of the wording is that you can have infinite Sigvalds if one dies, to the point that it doesn't say that you get 1 back.
Oh, is that a thing?
There you go.
You could just make, if Sigvald dies, you can get as many models as you have of Sigvald.
I do have 2
that's
Sigvald
the-
models.
Just play on TTS.
The poor wording that they have right now. Yeah, I think that's the bad wording they have, is it's not 1 per turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you
I mean,
use
I have
Sigvald, you could
I have a
put
lot
40
of
on
models that it could be Sigvald-ish, Put
there. Yeah, 1 die get 2.
yeah.
There's your AOR.
Chad, why did my computer freeze?
All of them with the 2 up board. Yeah.
Just start printing
Spawning
Sigvalds.
65,000 Sigvalds.
Guys,
Hold
print
on.
money.
They actually had to air it to the index Slaanesh because I was saying it was kind of bad to give your opponent like 3 depravity dice, right? But like the Index Slanesh actually they did the same thing where access to depravity was the faction trait that you used to give your units run and shoot and run and charge, and they didn't say once per turn on it, and so like it was just written in a way that it was obvious you were only supposed to use this once per turn. Like why would they say pick 1 to 3 units? You know, all that kind of stuff. But they didn't. And so people were in tournaments saying it doesn't say once per game.
Gosh.
Whole army run and charge, run and shoot, and giving the enemy like 9 depravity dice.
Yeah, rules is written.
Yeah, and they had the air to that. Yeah, so I mean, if this Sigvald thing is really
Yeah.
misworded like that, I haven't seen this. People, unfortunately, I can't believe that we're in this world. Are going to be like, they're going to be like
Yeah.
running like the trigonometry, like how many Sigvalds. It'd be like a Google interview question to ask you, like how many ping pong balls fit in an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these guys are going to be figuring out like how many Sigvalds fit on this battle plane right now. If I want to move this, unit of Painbringers half an inch, I could have fit like 3 more Sigvalds. It'd be a kind of
Seems very Slanesh, very
Yeah.
chaos lord. Yeah. Well, other than the busted S tier infinite Sigvalds, do you have a tier list for us, Chad?
Okay, the tier list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have one, honestly. Like I sat down to try and like make one, and the units I talked about, like the auto include War Scrolls, like I think are at the top. Blitzbarb Seekers somewhere in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, almost everything is playable. Like ranking it isn't really a constructive exercise. I didn't think. I don't know. A lot of it is a little overcosted. Like a lot of it's playable. Like different people are going to do different lists.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But I mean, I think every list that you see have success is going to have at least all 3 of the 4, like Thricefold Discord, Mask, Painbringers, Lord of Hysteria, Blitzbarb Seekers, Twin Souls. People might be running 1 unit Twin Souls. I see Lord of Hubris getting in the mix. Shard Speaker's pretty good. See, I think that those are going to be the ones that you're seeing a lot, and I think everything past that is just flavor or playstyle choice.
Well, awesome, Chad. Thank you a lot for joining us on today's episode. And whether it's information for people playing Slanesh or trying to avoid playing against Slanesh, I think that was a lot of good information and some good insights from somebody who's been playing them for years. Thank you a lot for being here today.
Hey, thanks. I'm trying to come in with maybe some hot takes here, just put some new thoughts out there. I think what you guys are doing is great. I love the pod, and I'm happy to hear more.
Thank you very much. And yeah, after you get some more games under your belt, and maybe after this GT next month, we'll circle back around and see if you have any secondary thoughts after putting a bunch of reps in.
Sweet. I'd be happy to be back.
And with that, Chris, I think another excellent episode of Reavercast. And I want to thank you for being my co-host, and thank everybody else for joining us here on, I think, episode 4 of Reavercast, as we talked about Slanesh and the new book and some GHB things. We will be putting out another episode coming up, specifically talking about that GHB coming up soon, with our thoughts after we get a few more reps in, so that we can maybe be a little more properly educated about it all beyond first thoughts and feelings. But thank you again for joining us and listening.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Chad. And see you later, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Reavercast.